corpses make poor company by night. And on that note, you're going to be too occupied grabbing shiny gold medallions, drinking fruit drinks, and dodging bullets in this bullet hell to pay attention to the corpses you've killed. And this is riddled corpses, and you'll be riddling a lot of corpses because there's a lot of dead enemies attacking you. So they're undead. So it's a 3D arcade game that feels like what if Resident Evil was an arcade top-down action game instead of a survival title with pixel graphics and RPG elements. And you know, enemies flood the screen and you have to dodge cars and explosive barrels, and it should be like twin sticks shooter. There are multiple waves of enemies per stage, and at 5 stages, but even though there are 5 stages, the difficulty is off the charts. Really off the charts. So the first stage's chiptune music really drew me into the game pretty much. So much that I leveled the first character almost to level 20, which took, I don't know, 3 to 6 hours. And then I finally beat the first stage of the game. I'm like, wow, okay, that's a long time to beat one stage. So the game is very intense, the action is very intense, and the difficulty is high from the very beginning. And the second stage somehow manages to boost it up even more. Make no mistake, the game only allows you to have a few hits, and the RPG elements are extremely grindy. Like, you won't believe me, but there's grindy, extremely grindy. And so much that people have hacked their files instead of spending 48 hours grinding their characters. So after each failed attempt to pass the stage, you can upgrade your character or buy items like dynamite, which damages everything on screen, medikits to heal, and freezing time clocks to freeze all the enemies on the screen for, I think it's 10-15 seconds. Anyways, so most enemies are slow in the game, but there's so many of them. There's a crazy number of bullets flying around everywhere. Easily hit your character if you don't grind, prevent you from progressing to the next wave or stage. So the game demands that you get good and grind. Even with your characters maxed out, the game may overwhelm you with a huge leap and challenge every time you conquer a stage. So it's unfair that they have you do a grind fest, and even then the game is still ridiculously challenging. Clearly they intentionally made the difficulty for the game sky high because there's only 5 stages in the game. I got to stage 2, and the stages aren't super long. They're just, you have to be on your A game to beat them, I feel, even with your upgraded character. There's no online multiplayer. You cannot reconfigure the controls. There's a major imbalance in item drops. Did not see many on stage 3, so I imagine stage 4 and 5 it's going to be close to impossible. The game feels unnecessarily bloated when there's no logic to the mini bosses and the waves. Like, it's just, there's no story to this version of the game. Having played half the game, I feel like the experience is fun, but don't expect the game to be more than fast shooting zombies on the screen and dodging bullets. That's straight ahead. The weapons really need more variety. They're all like spread guns. Even when you upgrade them, some of them turn into hearts. I think for the main character it's like a heart spread. But yeah, like, and there needs to be more things like shields, more protective gear overall, and that's like a huge mistake, especially when this game is this challenging. So even if you unlock all the upgrades, the game remains ridiculously challenging, which shouldn't be the case if you spent like 10-60 hours unlocking all this crap. I have to admit, I hacked my file too, just to unlock the characters, and still the game is ridiculously hard, which does not make sense. The game normally goes for $8.79. It's on sale right now for $2.19 until January 4th. I really recommend picking up for the $2 because it'll give you a chance to play the game and see if you have the patience to grind your characters as needed. Maybe the game's easier with a second person. I don't know. I find these sort of games they aren't, but maybe. It looks and sounds great, but the difficulty is just way too high. Like, it's ridiculous. I didn't expect it to be like that. It could have been a 9 out of 10, but the difficulty in grinding, bringing it set down to an average 6 out of 10, sadly. The game got a better EX version on consoles for the Switch, PS5, and Xbox, with features that never got ported back to the PC version. So like 60 frames per minute, an easy mode. There was apparently even a story mode. And this really hurt this original version of the game, and apparently the creator of the game refuses to upgrade the PC version for some reason. So it's definitely a 6 out of 10, this version. Keep on making corpses, even if the game doesn't make you rage quit first, and keep on gaming. Ciao.